Brings back some memories?
Huh?
Brings back some memories?
Yeah, it does. There's some new sights to see around here. It's pretty impressive. We had some early thoughts about this, right, the building, and to kind of see it now is beautiful.
First time you've
It's
seen the
awesome.
whole,
Yeah, when I came in the other day, I got lost. Kind of the new entryways and all that. It's beautiful. It's awesome. Really proud to be a part of Jonathan's new deal. And we've stayed in touch, since he went out in the world, left here as a GA back in 2004, somewhere right in there, I think. And we've stayed in touch football-wise and just kind of family-wise. So to be reunited with him, pretty special. Thankful for that, and looking forward to seeing what we do.
You were, even when you were gone for the 3 years
Yeah.
in Nebraska, with so many ties here, Mike, did you still follow the program as much as you could?
Oh, yeah.
Were you involved?
Yeah,
It was-
absolutely. With still family in the area and friends in the area, and also the fact that you've put in so much time. I had a hard time not checking to see what was going on, both here locally and conference-wise. I feel like I'm a Pac-8, Pac-10, Pac-12 gym rat. I feel like that's how I grew up. So I had to check, and it was fun to do that. And I frankly missed living in Oregon and living in Corvallis. We loved it. We made the most of that move and enjoyed it. There were lots of parts that were really, really good and good people. But this is kind of home for me. And even though you've been around the circle in coaching, we all felt like that, especially Dee, I think, is really excited about being back. And there's residuals for us that are special, that have something to do with the connection. But having daughter, son-in-law, grandkids here is also a real bonus for us. Something we really missed.
Any second thoughts about, can I really go home again?
Yeah.
Did you have to weigh that when you decided whether or not to
I've
come?
done it before, Ken, so I didn't really, I thought, okay, I can do this for a third time. I didn't really. I had a couple other opportunities that were really intriguing to me. I'm so thankful that this timing came up, because this was a no-brainer for me, given the opportunity. And so, if Jonathan wanted me, and I told him, that this has to be comfortable for him first. When we first talked about it, I told him to think about it, and don't do it unless he felt good about it, because it's probably a little bit unusual, but I knew it could work. And but I wanted him to be totally comfortable with it. This is a great time in his career and his life, so it had to be right. And if it was right for him, then this was going to be my choice if given the opportunity.
So
What was
you
his-
approached Jonathan
I
first? or-
approached him at first with the idea, think about this. He had asked me about some coaches, recommendations. He called me before he took the job, I think. And so we talked about that. And then the next time I talked to him, I said, hey, think about this. And then I said, but don't tell me right now, think about it. And don't worry about my feelings. Just make a decision based on what's good for you.
how long did it take for him to get back?
About 24 hours, and it was really positive, and so I was pleased with that, because I was just about having to make a decision about another place, and so the timing of it was great.
So when he was talking to you, not necessarily trying to obviously sell anything, but when
Yeah.
he was explaining it to you, what were his thoughts, his philosophies, and what was his direction he wanted to go?
I think that I think the first thing he wanted to do, which is right on the spot, is get the right people here. And these things are triggered by the combination of good people, smart, good evaluation, and recruitment, and football coaching. You have to have all those things to make this thing work at any place. So, he already knows that, and that's kind of philosophically what he was looking for.
Right now, you're still listed as an assistant head coach without a position group
Yeah.
assigned to you. Do you know what other responsibilities you're going to have under the staff?
No, not really. We talked about it quite a few different times in general, I guess, you know, in my background, I told him initially, just, I'll help wherever you want me to. You know, I've coached a lot of defense in my life. I've coached offensively, different spots. You know, so I basically told him, hire your staff and then plug me in wherever you need a guy at the end. And that's kind of what's taking shape right now. So, you know, whether it would be in the secondary or some spot on offense, I'm just willing to help and be a part of that group. And I think that'll be, any of it's, you know, fine with me, because I've enjoyed coaching in all those spots.
You still look so youthful, as always. I know this is where you're at now. Do you ever
Yeah.
think maybe, you know, down the road, if there was another opportunity, head coach somewhere, is that something you still contemplate at all? Or
Gary,
not for now?
I don't even know about that. You know, I'm at where I'm at, life-wise, not even career-wise. I'm totally happy with you know, you can think about my opportunity to coach back in Corvallis, place that I love, put a lot of time in, saw the program change and grow, and you know, part of all that. This is all good for me, you know, so I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm not looking to do anything else except help Jonathan Smith at Oregon State. Those two things together, that's a great fit for me.
It's been 21 years since you've been an assistant. That's a long time. Does it
Yeah.
feel different, funny? How does it feel?
It doesn't, you know, I'd had one little stint, remember,
Oh, that's
in
right.
between
New Orleans.
San Diego, when I went to New Orleans, I had a blast. As a matter of fact, I did that for a year and could have done it career-wise. I coached the secondary then with the Saints, so I feel real good about helping. You know, one thing I'll have is some perspective. You know, I've been through all this, you know, this is a pretty big world, college football. A lot of stuff goes on, players, all the different parts of it. So I've been through most of the situations. You can just about name any of them. And you know, after you're in it for a while, you encounter a lot of things that go on. So I hope I can be of help in navigation of some of this as it goes forward. He's really smart, and he's also been around college football, so you know, he's going to be well prepared to handle it all too. But it's always, it was for me always good to have a sounding board, and I hope to be that.
What do you think that balancing act is gonna be for you in terms of being there to help advise, to be maybe a mentor or something, but still coach with Jonathan?
Well, my job will be coaching a position and getting that group to be productive. You know, that will be it. And then recruiting my area and my position, that will be my job. And then whatever else he wants to glean will be up to him. We've already had some great talks, you know, staffing, you know, everything from the calendar, what goes on in the year, how you put it all together. You know, so it was always good for me to have somebody to talk to about those kinds of things. There's so many different parts, and so like I said, you know, I'll have a job to do specifically in football and in recruitment. Whatever else he wants to get from me, you know, I'm just part of the staff.
What area are you recruiting?
I don't know yet either.
Okay.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, none of us do yet. I think he's still putting that together. And when we come back, you know, after the Christmas time and get together, I think that will be an important time to have the areas, because we'll go out again in January.
I think he's going to use you primarily in Alabama.
Yeah. I hadn't heard that one yet.
How different is it to recruit to the Northwest? Obviously, you know how to do it here versus
Yeah.
a school like Nebraska. Is there a pretty significant
You know what?
difference?
It's pretty exciting to come up with a recruiting plan, which we had to do kind of anew at Nebraska, and it's really, I think, more of a science there than it is here, because we're going to recruit the Pac-12 footprint first, and that's a great way to start. And you have California available, you know, so how we used to have to do it was different than that, but it's still part of the science of how to recruit, and it's a big discussion, and it's really it's energizing to do that. It's kind of fun to do that, and so you know, I think that you know, Dan Vanderreed is here, and Dan kind of morphed from operations into recruitment while he was at Nebraska. So we had a lot of discussions. I know DVD, Dan Vanderreed, and Jonathan are talking about those kinds of things now, and I've been part of that discussion, but how that's all put together is really interesting and very, very important.
And Coach, you've been a part of a lot of different national signing days, but this being the first early signing period, what is your kind of take on that being benefits, challenges, and such?
Well, I think that, you know, it's interesting because there's two topics there. One of them is for an established staff that's been recruiting their class for a long time. I know some schools today are completing their class. When you're transitioning, it might not be ideal, but I think Jonathan and the group has made the most of it to this point. And now, the next go-around in January will be important to us. It'll be important to define, okay, what are the positions we really need to go after? 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. How many at each spot? Probably, you know, 10 to 12 spots left, something like that. So it's different. It will be something that we'll do now, and then go forward, and then look forward to the next go-round, and then kind of look at it broadly from what it looks like nationally. But I think that, you know, that I knew when they did it that this would become for some the signing date, and everybody would push to get their class. Almost done. Might be smart to leave a couple spots, but almost done. And I actually think they compromised to this date. The original date that I thought would be better would be June 30th, you know, but they didn't ask me at the end. So.
You're going right back to Big Ten country. Your first game, you're going right back
I
to
know.
the,
Yeah,
or to
and
the
that hasn't
horseshoe.
been too easy for us, so. That team's pretty good,
You
if
had
I
a
remember right.
Have you had a chance to talk with any of the players that were here when you were back in
Yeah,
town last
I
time?
have. I saw a couple along the way, Fred Lewina and Manasseh Hungaloo and some of those guys. And as a matter of fact, as of this morning, I was reaching out to a few more, didn't get a hold of them, but excited to see them. It's kind of neat. The first time when I came back to Tim Ewis and James Newsom and some guys like that. That was really fun to be reunited, and makes me feel good, you know, and you know, and then, you know, that will happen again like this as I see more of these guys. And there seems to still be a dozen or so that are still left from that original time. Pretty neat.
Is that,
Jonathan Willis and Bright, some of those guys will be fun to see. I saw Bright, by the way.
Dwayne Williams. didn't you?
Yeah, Dwayne recruited Xavier, actually, Crawford, and then he had to finish up some stuff in school, so he came the next term. So I'm excited to see him. I've heard great things about him, so.
is that a new shirt, or did you save that from last time?
That's a bone of contention right there. I've been wearing all my old stuff daily, and Lightning said, you have to wear the right stuff when you're gonna get interviewed, so. But I love, you know, the fact that I did keep everything, and it was right in my closet. Like, I've got 5 travel suits sweatsuits right up in a row that I've been sporting, so everybody's been impressed that I've got all my Beaver stuff still ready to go.
Have you been partial to those colors? I mean, you've been different places.
Oh,
do
yeah.
you like these
I've always,
better?
you always think about that.
Yeah.
You know, you always think about all that. No, you know, I saw so much of the transition, uniform-wise, branding-wise, all that part of it. So I just pay attention to it, and yes, I like it. Yeah.